Hello guys, I'm back with another video on AWS troubleshooting. So what is our problem statement today? So if we have two accounts, let's say account A and account B, and basically we have got a S3 bucket in account B and we want to access that S3 bucket over the access point which is restricted to the VPC. Okay, so basically any resources attached to the VPC in account A only should be able to access the S3 bucket. Okay, so this is our problem statement. Basically, how can I access a bucket in another account using S3 access point restricted to a VPC? Okay, so I have got two accounts. Okay, and let's I have already created the resources for you because it's just because I'm pretty much sure you all know how to create a bucket and how to create a role policies. Okay, or create the gateway endpoint because we need to take a help of the gateway endpoint here. So I've already created the resources, but I'll explain you the concept and what are the different policies you may need. Okay, and basically what are the different steps you may need to do to achieve this. Okay, so okay, so we have got two accounts. Okay, the one which is ending with 9881, this is consider this account as B, where we have got the S3 bucket. Okay, I have named it as the cross account access using gateway endpoint. Okay, and under this bucket I have got two objects or two files, you can say, logo.png and any dummy files basically. And if you look at permissions carefully, what I have done is I have specifically blocked all the public access, but I have just enabled one which allows the cross account access through access point policies. Okay, so that only I have enabled here and rest of thing I have blocked. Okay, we have got, okay, basically there are two things. One is the access point policy and this is bucket policy. So we need two policies. So I'm just explaining you the bucket policy, what bucket policy you need. So basically I'm saying here any user or any service from the account A should be able to access to this bucket. Basically this shouldn't be a root. Basically you should restrict it to a particular user or IAM role, but since this is for the demo purpose, I have allowed everything from this account A to access this S3 bucket in account B. And the actions I have allowed is like you can get the object or list the bucket or put the object. Okay, and yeah, this is my S3 bucket, and I'm allowing the objects also from the S3 bucket. And the condition here is, yeah, as you can see, data access point ARN is the access point, basically ARN of an access point. So what it means is we are allowing to get, list or put on this S3 bucket using this access point only to these users. Hope you got it. I'll just repeat one more time. We are allowing these actions S3 get list put on this S3 bucket through access point and allowed only to these users. Okay. So where we create the access point, we have to go to the access point. Basically, I'm sure you guys know what access point is. If you are not sure, like just to explain you, basically you can control everything through bucket policies. When I say you can, basically you can restrict all the accesses from the bucket policies. But when the number of users grow, it really becomes cumbersome task to manage all those users and the policies in just one single bucket policy. So we have, or the S3 has come up with another approach which is called the access point. Basically you can create access point to a user or a role, individual user or a role, and you can restrict to, or basically you can apply the access point policy to that user or a role. So it becomes basically, it becomes quite easy to manage roles and users and restrict the access to those users and roles. So we have created here one access point. Okay, it's saying S3 console doesn't support accessing bucket resources using virtual access point. Okay, basically what is since okay, we have already, as I said, I have already got the access point configured, and it is saying it is allowed only through the CLI, okay, or the APIs. But I what I wanted to show is, or basically, yes, so you can see in the permissions, okay, I have got the VPC ID, okay, and this VPC ID belongs to the account A, from where I'm going to access this S3 bucket. Okay, that's what we want. If you remember our problem statement, we want to restrict it to VPC. So from account A, resources attached to this VPC only can access this S3 bucket. Okay, again, access point has got the blocking the public access. So here again we have done the same. We have blocked all other public accesses except the last one, which allows through the access point in the cross account. Okay, as I said, like we need to apply the bucket policy and access point policy. So we have got here the access point policy, which is pretty much says the same thing, like allow only these users to do these actions and on this resource, and the resource is nothing but our access point. Okay, hopefully I'm clear with like the from the account B perspective. Just to summarize from the account B, we have got S3 bucket. Okay, and we have got two objects here. In the permissions, I have blocked all other public accesses except the access point policy one. We have got the bucket policy, which allows these actions on this S3 bucket only to do these users through this access point. Okay, and this is where the access point is configured. So if I click the access point, go to permissions, we are allowing only through this VPC, and we have enabled only the cross account access point. And in the access point, we have said like only these users can do these actions or using this access point. Okay, so let's jump to the account A. So to clarify things, I have just noted down the steps here. Okay, in the account B, we have got the bucket, we have got the access point, we attach the access point policy, we attach the VPC ID, and we have created the bucket policy. Okay, now we'll jump to the account A. Okay, what we need in account A? Yes, you will need an account. You will need an IAM role in account A, basically which will attach to the EC2 instance. Okay, and through that EC2 instance, using access point, we'll try to access the S3 bucket. Okay, so this IAM role has got a policy which allows access to the S3 access point from the account B. We will create a gateway endpoint, okay, which will basically allows access to the S3 bucket in the account with basically the private connectivity. And yeah, we have to attach it to public subnet. We will spin up an EC2 instance in a in the same public subnet. Okay, and yes, and then we'll just try to access it. Okay, so yeah, as I said, like I have got the EC2. Okay, so before that, let's start from the basically endpoint. So as I said, like I have created one. Hopefully you, I guess in one of my last videos I've already shown how to create the endpoints, but just to give you again a small demo, so I'll just give it a name, and here I'll take a service name as S3. Just make sure that in a type, because you can see two types. One says gateway endpoint, one says interface endpoint. We have to select the gateway endpoint. Okay, and select the VPC. When you select the VPC, it basically asks the route table which you want to use for this gateway endpoint, because when you select a route table, basically it adds one route to that route table, and then again it has the full access and the custom when you want to restrict it more. Basically that should you do, but for the demo purpose I have just got the full access. So if you look at the route table, you should see one entry here saying similar to this, which basically says that like from the gateway endpoint, you can access the S3 bucket using this. Basically all the resources belong to this subnet. Using this gateway endpoint can access the S3 bucket. Okay, so yes, that's what the gateway endpoint. Okay, so we have got the okay IAM role. So this is what the role I have created, cross account S3 access point role. Like the first step, as I said, like we need to create a role. Okay. And if you look at here in the policies, as I said, like we are giving access to the, basically we have got the access point from the account B A9881. I am in 6172 account. Okay. So this is the access point that we have created another account, and this is the bucket we are trying to access. Okay. So we have got the role access point policy. I just explained you the gateway endpoint we have attached to the public subnets route table. Okay, we have already got the EC2. Let's try to, you know, access the bucket or the access point. Okay, and just to show you one more thing, I have already attached that role to this EC2 instance. So if you go to security, you can see I've already attached that role which has access to the S3 access point. Okay. So if you can just see, I'm doing AWS S3 LS, the 9881, which is account B, where we have the S3 bucket, and I'm accessing it through the access point. And this is my access point name. Okay. If I do this, you can clearly see uh, I'm able to access the objects from that S3 bucket using access point. Okay. Same way, like you can basically put object into this bucket using the access point, using the AWS S3 upload. Okay, and basically you can do the as per our permissions given, you can list, put, or get operations on that S3 bucket. Okay. Hopefully guys, this video again has given you uh, some troubleshooting knowledge on if you want to access the S3 bucket using gateway endpoint and basically access point. Yeah, you will need to use the gateway endpoint anyways, but the basic purpose was like we wanted to access the S3 bucket through the access point, not in a regular way where without access point you don't really need to use like the access point errand. Using the S3 bucket name you can do that, but here we are specifically doing it through the access point. Okay, so thanks guys again for watching my videos. uh, Please subscribe to my channel. I'll come up with again more interesting videos. And yeah, I mean it has got delayed because of my personal reasons. Last couple of weeks I did not upload any video, but I'll try to keep on adding videos to my channel, so please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching.